This is an intermediate to advanced crafter's guide to various tips and tricks for using Eldritch currencies, in rough order from quite useful to mostly useless. A link to my beginner's guide is in the description. When you reforge an item, like with Chaos Orbs, Essences, Fossils and Harvest Crafts, you have an 8 in 12 chance to get 4 affixes, a 3 in 12 chance to get 5 affixes, and a 1 in 12 chance to get 6. Importantly, the final number of affixes that you're left with includes any that didn't change when you reforged, like fractured mods or affixes on the side of the item that aren't rolled when you use an Eldritch Chaos. For a concrete example, have a look at this item. It has 3 prefixes and a fractured suffix. That's 4 mods, so when you use an Eldritch Chaos on it, 2 out of 3 times nothing will happen. When you have an item like this, it's better to block a common mod that you don't want, Normal or Eldritch Exalt, not Chaos, and if you don't hit a good mod, you either Eldritch Chaos or Eldritch Annul and go again. In most cases, simply using Ichors, Embers and Conflicts is the most efficient way to get any combo of Eldritch implicits at any desired tier. However, for the specific case where you need Exquisite, for example with +2 strikes or +2 maximum res, it's most cost effective to roll the implicits to perfect exceptional while it's still magic, use the Black Morrigan Beastcraft to apply a Hinekora's Lock, check the conflict, and try again if you fail. You could also use the Krayikic Chimeral Beastcraft to create an imprint, but then you actually need to use the conflict. Do whatever's cheaper. Using a fractured fossil on an item will create 2 copies which both retain both implicits. Beast splitting an item into 2 copies will place one implicit on one item and the other implicit on the second item. Beast splitting an item into 3 copies will place one implicit on one item, the other implicit on a second item, and create a third item with no implicits. Sometimes you want a Gilded Fossil implicit alongside your Eldritch implicits, so that you can later attempt to vial the item and replace the Gilded implicit with a Corrupted implicit. Be aware that using Ichors and Embers will remove the Gilded implicit even if you already had both Eta and Exarch implicits on the item, but that using Conflicts doesn't remove it. When you have a Hinekora's Lock applied to an item, both the normal and Eldritch versions of Chaos, Exalts and Annuls will have a different outcome. You can use this to improve your odds of annulling something, or improve your odds of adding a particular modifier, for example by checking a normal Chaos, an Eldritch Chaos, a normal Exalt, and an Eldritch Exalt. Just make sure the item has the correct dominant influence before you apply the lock. Common wisdom says that once you put Eldritch influence on an item, you can't remove it. This is only mostly true. There are in fact 2 methods to do so, in addition to the 3-way split mentioned earlier. The first is simply synthesizing the item, which will remove its Eldritch implicits and influence. However, this will be a downgrade in nearly all cases, or simply a waste of currency after you reapply Eldritch implicits. Note that items that have had their synthesis implicits overwritten by Eldritch ones cannot be synthesized again, as they still count as synthesized items. You can also remove Eldritch influence by setting both implicits to lesser, using an Orb of Conflict to upgrade one to greater and remove the other one, and then vial the remaining implicit off. I assume this also works with 2 implicits and the Locus of Corruption double corrupt, but I'll leave that for someone else to test, as I can't imagine a scenario where such a process would be beneficial. If there are any niche interactions with the Eldritch currencies that I've missed, let me know in the comments and I'll collect them in a pinned message.